Welcome to the DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast, now part of the All City Network. Hit the subscribe button for YouTube and also become a DLLS diehard at www.alldlls.com. Now here's Jeff and John. Hey everybody, welcome to DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast. This is episode number 2. I know you guys have seen a lot of podcasts with Jeff and I, but this is the new format with DLLS All City Sports. I'm so happy to be a part of them. This is episode number 2 of our weekly podcast. As you can see, Jeff's not in studio. You're actually down at DLLS headquarters, right?
Yeah, I tried to get some brick, though, so that we could match a little bit, but we got this big window now. So, I completely blew the schedule today. I thought that we didn't have a daily show, and so we scheduled Jonathan Ornelas to come on at 11:30. The problem is that the daily show's at noon, so we had to bump him up 30 minutes, and I had to come to the studio. So anyway, we're kind of back to the old way when we first started, John. And
and hey, guys, before we go any further, hit that subscribe button below. Like the video. Do that. It does nothing but help all of us. Go to the DLLS YouTube channels also and hit that, which, by the way, we're linked in as part of that also. That's part of this deal. Listen, the Rangers, a lot of good stuff going on with the Rangers. I know they're still pretty much out of the playoff hunt. We all know that. But let's think about this Yankees series. This is one of the better teams in the American League. And Wyatt Langford, and good Lord, this has been fun.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, the Rangers are 6 games under 500, but they're closer to 500 than they were a week ago. So, you know what? Enjoy the good times. I know there have been a lot of bad times. This has been kind of not a great defense of the World Series title, but they're playing well right now, and Wyatt Langford's playing exceptionally well. Everybody saw the walk-off grand slam on Tuesday, which was really showed some maturity because he'd faced Clay Holmes the night before, and then last night with that catch, I had to kind of get set up for the post-game show, and so I had packed up all my stuff and moved it into a different room, and 2 outs, I came back, and I must have been there for 20 minutes. It took forever to get that last down, and Wyatt Langford had to leap at the wall to rob Giancarlo Stanton. Wow, it would have been 10-9 at that point, and then all bets are off. But this guy is improving in front of our eyes. I talked kind of about, we were probably all guilty of really heaping unfair expectations upon him.
Right.
This guy was going to struggle. He barely played in the minor leagues. But now as he's into the final month, he's grinding through. He's learned how to get through the dog days, and now it's a fight to the finish. And he's you saw the catch, but he went 3 for 4 and reached base 4 times last night. So good for him. And while we're talking about
let's be honest about it. I mean, look, I know the homestand's still going on, but to be honest about it, he's the player. He's the One Rangers Way player, right? You got to do that.
Yeah. Our partners in One Rangers Way. He's our safe at home player of the homestand. I know there's 4 games left, but just what he's done in the last 2 nights pretty much seals up the award. And if you haven't seen our interviews with Scott and Nicole over there at One Rangers Way and need to learn about them, One Rangers Way is like the only residential community in the heart of the entertainment district. You can walk to Rangers games, you can walk to Cowboys games. It's upscale. I mean, John, we were in the model 2 weeks ago. Every possible amenity, exclusive bar, sports viewing lounge, pool with a swim up bar. They're very, very pet friendly. You can do just about anything you want there. There's a 24/7 concierge. The floor plans are available now online at onerangersway.com. Live like a champion at One Rangers Way. Now leasing for January 2025. They're going to open January 12th.
Yeah, and look, it's great. And look, let me tell you what. If these next 4 games, someone makes it an argument over who's going to be Rangers One Way player of the homestand, that's a great problem for the Texas Ranger fan base, right? If we have someone else that steps up and makes it an argument, because, man, Wyatt Langford's been unbelievable.
Yeah, and, they have a 4-game series against the Angels. If they split, they end up winning, having a winning homestand. The Angels are struggling right now. There's an opportunity for a 7-3. A sweep would make it 8-2. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But it's hey, baseball's been fun for the last 7 days if you're a Rangers fan, and that's important.
Yeah, and let's talk about the Rangers record right now. We always do this off the top, and we didn't do it. So they're 67-73, which is 6 games, like Jeff said. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games, 8.5 back, not only in just the AL West race, but they're 8.5 back now in the wild card race, which is a tougher one to hold. But they may actually end up in second place in the AL West. They've got a chance to finish second in the West.
Yeah, they have 7 games against the Mariners, who have fallen apart. The Mariners are up 3 right now over the Rangers, 5.5 behind the Astros. 7 games, it's a chance for the Rangers to close in, get past them. There's stuff to play for. You can play for second place. You can play for 500. And you never know what's going to happen. I mean, the Astros could fall apart. I mean, it's not like they're a great team, I don't think the wild card, everybody would have to fall apart. So it's
you're dependent on too many falling apart.
The Rangers' faint playoff hopes are reliant upon winning the division, and the Astros crumbling, and the Mariners staying kind of crappy like they are, and the Rangers continuing to play well. It's a long shot. The Rangers know it. They're looking toward 2025 with some of these moves that they're making, including placing Corey Seager on the injured list yesterday. He might play again this year. He really might. He has to have some testing on his hip. If it's minor, great. If it's something that's going to need surgery, get it done now. This guy didn't have an off season last year, really, and he recognizes the importance of having an off season and a spring training. So tackle it now, figure out what it is, and go from there.
Well, let me ask you this, because I feel that this is probably true, but you could probably confirm it. Maybe you guys talked to him. I wasn't out there yesterday. If this team was in the middle of a hunt right now and they were tied with the Astros and it was going, Corey Seager probably wouldn't do this, right? He'd probably still be playing because he was kind of playing hurt for a couple weeks.
Yeah, he'd probably be DH-ing, but last year he played with a sports hernia the last month, and we didn't find out about.
Right.
Okay, so the last month and all the playoffs, he had a hernia.
Yeah, he doesn't like to disclose when he's injured.
So I would think that he would be playing through this unless he absolutely was unable to run the bases. Shortstop was a problem moving around there, but you can work your way around that. You can put Josh Smith at shortstop, which is what they're probably going to be doing most of the rest of the way. But I think if this was the Rangers were in the hunt, Corey Seager would not be on the injured list. But because he isn't, 2025 is the Rangers are very mindful of next season. And so take care of your franchise player.
Absolutely. And I look, when I heard it and saw him talking about it and all of that, I thought, absolutely shut the guy down for a little bit. Let's get this thing taken care of. A lot of us, like you said, we didn't find out anything about this hernia thing till we were getting ready for spring training. And all of a sudden we found out about the surgery, what a month before, something like that. He wasn't going to quite do that.
It was the January 30th. And, spring training for position players started 3 weeks later. So it was as late as they could go, as late as they could give it.
Well, I think he thought he could just heal and get ready.
Yeah, hernias don't get better. That's just it. Yeah, they just don't get better. So especially when you have to use your core so much, swinging a bat and all the other stuff that baseball players do. But speaking of shortstops, and this isn't really about the current team, but Elvis Andrus is going to retire tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time because Ron Washington is in town with the Angels. Michael Young is going to be at the press conference, so I'm sure there are a lot of jokes told and yucks, and it's pretty remarkable.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Elvis is a Rangers Hall of Famer, no question about it.
Yeah,
and
I figured.
He's still young. That's the thing. He's not even 40. He started so early in his career. He played 15 years, and tried to give it a go this year. Arizona cut him, and then Arizona ended up their shortstop Peromo got hurt like the first week of the season, so they probably could have used him, to be honest with you. But just that everybody has good memories about Elvis Andrus.
Yep.
You think of Elvis Andrus and you perk up. It's not. Yeah, this is a guy who led the Rangers, leads the Rangers, career stolen bases. He really was for a while there, kind of, if things had held, in the discussion for 3,000 hits. But as it is, he had a fine career, 2-time All-Star, made a lot of money, has made this area his home. He's a U.S. citizen. He did that while he was still with the Rangers. It's a good story, this guy, and everybody talked about Beltray and all that. He brought in his interactions, Elvis brought energy to everybody. Yep. and really changed the team dynamic when he debuted in 2009 as a young guy for a team that had gotten old, and he brought some youthful exuberance that was needed.
And you don't even think about it. I got a story about Elvis, and you don't even think about really how long he's been in it and how many years and the age. But his last year in the minor leagues, he played for Double A. Remember, people forget he skipped Triple A, went from Double A up. My sophomore in college, who will be next summer, he will turn 20. He's 19 years old. When he was 3 years old, we went to a Frisco RoughRider game. And Elvis Andrus's deal every time was when he ran off the field, he would throw a ball in the stands. Well, we weren't sitting there waving at him. We were behind everybody up in front waving at him. And somebody pointed up to me, and he looked up, and I just kind of did that, and he threw the ball. And we still have that ball that he and my son was a big Elvis Andrus fan all the way through and all of that. And now the kid's a sophomore in college, and I was holding him in my arms when I caught that thing. And Elvis was that 19-year-old Double A shortstop. Yeah. And you forget how you just all of a sudden it dawns on you, God, that was that long ago.
Yeah, and my first year on the beat was his first year in Ranger spring training in 2008 in big camp. And my wife, she was my fiance at the time, she came down to visit. And I don't know, we'd been across the valley, I think, and we needed something to eat, and back then, surprise, didn't have a ton of options. So we went to get the salad and breadsticks at Olive Garden, and so we were waiting to get our table, and Elvis is there in the lobby waiting to pick up an order, and he says, "So hey, how's it going? Good." And I introduced him to my wife, and he was very nice and very young, and so he left. He said, "Okay, see you tomorrow." And I remember Jenny said, "Oh man, I feel so bad for him. He's by himself." I was like, "You do not need to feel bad for Elvis Andrus. He's going to be just fine." And sure enough, he is just fine, and has a beautiful family, and is still a guy that you want around your team. And I would suspect that at some point, as has been the case with past Rangers, he will either end up as an assistant to the general manager, or a special guest to spring training,
or a guest on this podcast,
especially the young Latin guys. I think he would have a huge influence on them.
And a guest on this podcast. We're going to work on that and try to get him. Right now, he's going to be busy. I know that, going through all of this, but yeah, we talked to him at the All-Star game because he helped coach the Futures game. And was there, and you guys, I didn't know him back from media back then, but introduced me to him and all that. He was just friendlier than hell. I mean, he's just a friendly guy, just flat out. Good for him. But let's get back into this big league club. Let's recap kind of some things this week. You guys have gone over it on the Daily Pod, but I wanted to get into some Jack Leiter stuff. The stat line doesn't show what kind of a game that was. That's just some encouraging stuff with Jack Leiter that day. It kind of got away from him there at the end. He ended up the big home run ended up costing him 4 earned runs, 5 earned runs, whatever it was. But boy, he was facing off with a heck of a lineup, and he was going through them.
Yeah, the thing to be most encouraged about is afterward he said it was the best he'd executed. So that means he was executing his pitches and the game plan. He didn't walk anybody. He pitched efficiently. He only struck out 2 guys, but he pitched efficiently. And I saw somebody say, "Oh, you got to strike out more than 2." Yeah, probably you do. But you know what? If you get to the point where you're at 75 pitches after 5 innings, you're pitching a really good ball game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he ran into trouble when he fell behind in the count. The Gleyber Torres hit was on in the third was kind of a hanging slider. The Soto hit in the 6th was on a 3-1 pitch, and he had fallen behind Judge too. And really, the pitch the Judge hit was off the plate inside, and he just ripped it down the line. Not a bad pitch. So I think that there are some people who immediately said that, oh, you're killing his confidence by not letting him pitch by not stopping him after 5 and making him feel good about, hey, I just held the Yankees to 2 runs in 5 innings. He wanted to be out there.
Sure.
Yeah, and the Rangers needed him to be out there.
That's to say, this team needed him to go out another inning.
But also, Bruce Bochy later said to me, it was a learning experience. This guy, if he's going to be a good major league pitcher, needs to learn how to get through a lineup 3 times. And
I tell you, yeah.
And Bochy said that he thinks that Jack Leiter can be a workhorse, and he just has to work his way into that. And if the Rangers, again, are looking at 2025, this guy needs to learn. So nothing but encouraging things. And he believe me, for everybody who was worried about his confidence is not at all shaken by what happened in the 6th inning.
Well, I tell you what, and that if you guys are memorabilia guys and all of that, he is a guy who you probably want to get his autograph. And speaking of autograph, let's talk about the autograph app. You put out something this week with them. They're one of our sponsors here on this show. What a great app it is. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, they had some big news because they're now out of their beta, which I had to look up because I'm not tech savvy, but it means that their testing phase is done. And now the app is ready to be released to the public. You can still get it, but they've had some really good, cool things. And those of you who do have the app know that you can get Rangers news there. They have a replay feature in the upper left column that at the very top of the left corner, you can quickly catch up on everything you missed. Rangers Today stuff was on there. DLLS stuff will be on there soon. So go check out the Autograph app. Download it. Tom Brady co-founded it. Whether you like Tom Brady or not, he doesn't just throw his weight behind crappy products. This is something that's really cool, and you can get all sorts of contests and benefits from this app. So go check it out. Download the Autograph
tickets
app.
On there too?
They do. You can do a bunch of things there. So go check it out for yourself, and look, you won't regret it. It's a really handy app to follow your favorite teams: Rangers, Cowboys, Mavs, Stars, Broncos, whoever.
Yeah.
you can do it through this app, this fan-friendly app that's trying to, like DLS, kind of bring the game to the fan.
Right. So listen, before we get Ornelas in here, so the Rangers today, guys, it's Thursday morning. Rangers have the final game with the Yankees today. And then we have the Angels coming in.
No, the Angels are here today.
Yesterday. That's right. Yeah. So the Angels start today, and then we go through 4-game series with the Angels over the weekend, and then that is, what they head out next week, but they're off Monday, right? Is that when they're
off Monday? Arizona for 2, Seattle for 4, home for a homestand that will include somebody in the Mariners, and then on the road to finish the season at Seattle or at Oakland, and playing in the last game at Oakland Coliseum, and then finishing with 3 games at Anaheim. So,
and somewhere in there, it looks like we're going to see some Jacob deGrom, who is probably starting Saturday for Frisco. He
would probably debut during that Seattle series. Max Scherzer is pitching Saturday for Las Vegas. He's also, if everything goes well, he will pitch in
Las Vegas. You're saying
in Las Vegas,
not for Las Vegas. He was not traded.
It doesn't really matter who he pitches for, just as long as he gets healthy. And
Absolutely.
and with John Gray now hurt and out for the
Yeah.
year, and Tyler Malley not coming back, the Rangers need these guys.
Yep.
So they'll still have some decisions to make. I mean, I think Jack Leiter needs to keep starting, so that probably doesn't bode well for Andrew Heaney. Although Andrew Heaney's been so good, so I don't know
God,
what they're
no.
gonna do. Maybe they do a 6-man rotation, or maybe
Don't you think?
Jack has to piggyback while DeGrom builds up. But
I just
you know,
imagine him sitting on that bench last night watching 10 runs and going, what the, what,
yeah,
you know,
that
you
guy,
guys not pull off 3 or 4 for me? What the heck, man?
yeah, pretty unlucky with that run support. But
But dude,
his
he's
ERA
been,
is 381. His ERA is
absolutely.
381. Yeah,
And
so
he has held, man, he has been all year long. He stayed healthy. He's done good. I mean, this has been your workhorse, truly. The guy that's really put the innings in for you. And
he's been the
come,
most consistent. Yeah,
absolutely.
so he's been able to post every time. And you need a
Absolutely.
guy like that. Even though he only goes 5-6 innings, you still need a guy like that. And he's going to be a versatile guy. He's going to make some money in free agency, I think.
I think so too. All right, guys, listen, let's get Jonathan Ornelas in here, who's another guy to be playing some shortstop probably while Seager's out. But let's
Yeah.
go to Jonathan right after this. The guest segment's brought to you by the Round Rock Express. Jeff, what's going on in Round Rock?
Well, like we just said, not a lot. They're in Las Vegas right now. Kumar Rocker Friday, Max Scherzer Saturday, assuming all goes well. But they come home for the Express do for their last homestand of the season next on Tuesday the 10th against Sacramento. $2 Taco Tuesday, dollar hot dogs on Wednesday, Bark in the Park, my favorite, on Thursday. A Friday the 13th spectacular on Friday the 13th. They'll play as the Chupacabras de Round Rock, the little bobblehead giveaway on the 14th, and then Princess Day on the 15th. So for more information, go to MILB.com/round-rock.
Okay, guys, and joining us right now from Arlington at his Airbnb, it is Texas Rangers infielder Jonathan Ornelas back in the big leagues. Bud, what's going on?
Okay, nothing much. How are you guys doing?
Just hanging out, talking Rangers baseball, which has been kind of fun lately. What has been like, since you come back, they start winning ball games. I think you're the magic touch.
I know. I love it. I love winning's always fun.
So what's your role when there's a walk-off win? You just storm the field if you're not on it and start punching the guy. What do you do?
Yeah. So my role has been trying to flag the guy down. Take a couple water bottles with me, maybe a bag of seeds, just pouring it on people. Trying to get as much as I can on the person who hit the walk off, but if it gets on other people, so be it.
Yeah. Yeah. What do they call that? Collateral damage.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, okay, whatever happens. But yeah, so this has been good. September call-ups aren't like they used to be. You might remember probably right after you were drafted, the rule was still in place where teams could just call up whoever they wanted who was on the 40-man. But they only have 2 spots now. So what do you make of this opportunity, especially now that Corey Seager is going to be out for a while?
I think I just trying to take advantage of the opportunity. I guess just trying to see when I can get in there, and when I do get in there, just trying to display everything that I can do to try to help the team win. Just put together some good at bats to whatever that may be. Maybe moving a guy over, or just trying to get some going. Same thing on defense. Just trying to make the plays that are supposed to be made, and if a couple flashy, fancy ones come in every here and there, I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah. The other night, I thought you had successfully turned that double play that they ended up overturning. I thought that call should have stood. I never saw a definitive replay.
Yeah,
that was a heck of a turn. And then there was a play up the middle where it's like a tweener between you and Marcus that ended up going for an infield hit. You went to cover the bag. Did you? What was that play? Did you and Marcus talk about it afterward? I mean, it just seemed like it was a ball that was just destined to be a hit.
yeah. So it's kind of one of those tweeners that's as you're in the lefty shift, shortstop's kind of up the middle more, and second baseman's a little bit over to the pull side. So it's kind of one of those balls. It's not hit hard enough for me to kind of just angle straight across. I'd have to come in to get it. And Simeon, same thing. Simeon would have to kind of angle himself kind of in to get it as well. I think we ended up talking about it. It probably would have been an easier play for me to go get it. But I think that's just me playing with him more often, just knowing kind of
Sure.
our zones and our boundaries, and then kind of knowing how far he can go, how far I can go. But I
Yeah.
think it's definitely one of those things where he saw that I kind of wanted to make a move to it, and he like realized that. And then as I was like, oh, it's kind of in his territory where I know he can get to it, that's when I was like, okay, let me go cover the bag just in case he wants to come the short way. And that's when he kind of hesitated and then ended up going to get it, and he ended up being safe. I think the play would have still been super bang bang because Chisholm can
Right.
run for sure. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things where if we communicate early, say, hey, I'll go in front and you go behind, or one of those things where like, hey, if you can get to it, get to it. But I think that just comes with playing with each other, just kind of knowing
Yeah.
each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah. I mean,
Totally agree.
and even
Yeah.
if you're not playing, I mean, just being in the clubhouse every day and around the team has got to be super beneficial to you. So, what are you trying to pick up during a game that you're not in the lineup?
Yeah, so yesterday I started. I've done it before, but yesterday I started kind of getting more into it. I started picking Semyon's brain since he didn't play yesterday. We were kind of sitting together most of the game yesterday, so I started picking his brain about kind of what he thinks about when he's in the box, as well as far as like other things. But I kind of asked him as well, like when he was coming up, what were things like? Was he an everyday guy? It went like how he took it when he didn't play and stuff like that. And so he just told me like to keep it simple, just try to get your work in, make sure you prepare, because you always have to be prepared. You never know. You could not be in the lineup, and then first, second inning, something happens, bang, you're in the game. And if you didn't do
Yeah.
anything that day, you wanted to take an off day, then you're not prepared for whatever that opportunity is. So he's taught me to make sure you're always prepared. And then I was talking to Seager also later in the game, and I was kind of asking him on the hitting side, like, what's your approach when you're in the box? What do you think about? Because he's different, like
He is different.
he's such a good hitter. So I wanted to pick his brain about what he thinks about and all this other stuff. And he just told me, he said, I just try to put my body in a good position all the time, because regardless of what the pitcher throws, what the pitch does, if I put myself in a position that I want to be in, he said it doesn't matter what the guy throws, I'll be able to hit it. He said he's always on fastball timing and trying to swing at strikes. So I think that's kind of helping me clear out things that I may have some doubt about.
Well, that's
You
good to
really,
hear that, because you typically think that Corey Seager just goes up and swings at the first damn pitch he sees. And a lot of times that's how it plays out. But
Yeah.
he definitely is different. He's so good, like you mentioned. But that's pretty funny. I would think that you want to be with Marcus as much as possible. I know you take the ground balls together. He never takes a day off from grounders. I think that's just probably the example of kind of the perfect example for a young guy to try to emulate.
No doubt. That's why I like to talk to him about a lot of different things, like especially on defense as well. Whenever I take ground balls to second base, I ask him his footwork and how he feels and what he tries to feel when he's fitting the ball to second base and all that good stuff. So I just try to pick his brain about. They both have different things, and I try to pick everything from everyone and try to learn a little bit from everyone that I can.
Yeah. I saw you after the game. You seemed pretty dang happy to see Sandro Fabian.
That's my guy.
That's pretty cool for him, huh?
Yeah,
What we didn't get a chance to talk to him because he showed up after we were done with the clubhouse.
Yeah.
How excited is he?
Oh, I mean, he did, we were talking to him about it, and he couldn't get any words out. The only thing he could say was, "I'm happy." I think that's how much in shock he was. Still, like, he was still trying to believe it. So I'm like, hey, you got to find a new word when you get interviewed and all that stuff. Like, you're gonna have to use some different words. You can't just say happy, happy, happy. But he's excited, and we're all really happy for him. I mean, he's having a great year, so it's really hard to find someone that's more deserving than him.
Yeah, he's a strong guy. I mean, he's a good looking guy. Like just he passes the body test. You just look at him. This guy looks like he can play. But he's really good
I think
against.
you're aiming that at me, Jeff. Are you directing that at me?
Yeah,
I don't have
you
body
and Sandro. Yeah, it's very similar. But what's he do well? And everybody says he's left-hander as well, but I mean, he probably does more than that.
No, he crushes the baseball. It doesn't matter who's throwing. I mean, it could be a righty, lefty. It could be a switch pitcher. I mean, you could throw the Rosenberg at him, and he's gonna hit it. I mean, he can swing it. But he does a lot of things well. He's a good outfielder. I like the way he plays outfield. I mean, he might have him and Adolis might have they're pretty comparable arms. I mean, it's
Oh my.
good. He leads. I think all of baseball, minor leagues and big leagues included, in assists this year. He has like 16, I think. So I mean, he can throw the baseball also, and then he takes good routes. He's more he plays right just because of his arm, but he's played some center down in Round Rock, and I mean he's tracking balls down like he's a natural center fielder. So I think he can play anywhere in the outfield. He's got good reads. He's good on defense, and then he can swing the bat. So I think he's going to be just fine.
That's good to hear. I mean,
Yeah.
People who don't know, he was a Giants prospect for a long time, signed with the Rangers last year as a minor league free agent, had a really nice year, and late in the year, it was in the conversation as a guy to maybe help the team, and now he's got the opportunity. So I hope the Angels throw a bunch of left-handers. I'm guessing he's going to face mostly lefties, but it the Rangers need to see these guys. They need to see more of you. They need to see because you never know what's going to happen in an off season. Who's going to get traded? Who's going to get hurt? I don't know. Riding a bicycle, shit. I don't know. Anything can happen. I mean, I guess I shouldn't make light of that because of the poor hockey player that was killed last week riding a bike. But things happen, and that's why you have depth in players. But how was Sandro's English?
I would say it's pretty good, honestly. He gets by. It's funny because I mean, obviously I haven't known him for too long, but I feel like I've known him for a long time and we get along so well. But I think we met. You said he signed last year, so we met in spring training that year, and even then, like his English was still iffy. It was like the only thing he knew how to say was when he went to Chipotle, it was white rice, black bean, chicken. That's it. Like that was his English. And so now to see like kind of not just his development in baseball, but also like learning the native language here in the States is awesome. I mean, he can now hold his own in a conversation with random people when he goes. He can go to the store and order anything he needs, or buy if he needs to get something for the house. And sometimes he'll ask me for help. Like, hey, am I saying this right, or is this the correct way to use it? And most of the time, like he's not afraid, and I love that. Like he's not scared to just go out and have a conversation in English because that's the best way to learn.
Yeah, if you are watching this for the first time, Jonathan's been on our show now 3 times. He's from Arizona, the Phoenix area, Glendale, Kellis High School, I think, and he's bilingual. And I think that's got to be a huge advantage for you. I mean, you can talk to Adolis Garcia in his most comfortable situation, and then you can go and talk to Corey Seager and Marcus Simmons.
Yeah. No, it's hard.
I mean, that's rare. It's rare.
Yeah, it's I love it. I mean, getting along with everybody, it's definitely nice. It's also being able to help those guys that having a hard time adjusting to English in anywhere, even here in the big leagues, or even some of the younger guys that I've been helping throughout the years. So it's definitely a privilege. It's definitely awesome to know 2 languages.
Well,
I wish I could.
Jonathan once translated for me with a JP Martinez interview in Frisco. So the good news in the big leagues is they have Raul to translate. So you're off the hook on translation, right? You've got other things to worry about. You don't need to worry about me and my inability to speak a language I probably should have learned years and years ago.
We're gonna blame you, Jeff.
Yeah. All right. Well, what else is going on with you? I mean, we got the ball. Everything's going great. What else? What else we up to? Just chilling.
Yeah, honestly, just enjoying it, embracing it in every moment, and kind of learning and trying to better, get better every day, regardless of in the lineup, not in the lineup, trying to find a way to be productive and to be prepared for anything that may happen. But I think the only thing that's new is I may go to play winter ball in the Dominican here in a couple months. So
cool.
Gonna go experience that and see what that's like.
Yeah, they got a team lined up for you.
Yeah, I'm playing for the Águilas del Cibao.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
When would you head down? I mean, because their season starts pretty early.
Yeah, they start October 20th. I want to say is the first game. So I just talked to him about coming down whenever our season was over, whenever that may be. He said, "Come down as soon as you can afterwards." But I'll just be doing the first month, going from I think you said October 15th, 16th ish to like November 20th. I think is like the first month.
Have you ever been to the Dominican? Did you ever go to one of the
No,
workouts there? Or no?
no. So
Okay.
I'm really excited. I've heard some really good things about like not just the country in general, like how beautiful it is, but I've heard some good things about the Winter Ball League that it's competitive. There's
Oh yeah.
talent, and that they just want to win, so they take it seriously down there.
No, you can look at Winter League box scores and see names. No shit, Neftali Feliz, Alexi
Yeah,
Ogando, guys from Rangers past who are still out there, and they throw breaking balls. And it's competitive.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
They draw big crowds too.
I've
yeah,
heard.
yeah. No, that's going to be great. You'll have to stop by the Rangers facility. It's really nice. It's in
Yeah,
Boca Chica, which is between the Dominican and I'm sorry, it's Domingo and La Romana. It's just off the road.
yeah.
But and then look out over the outfield wall and you can see how shitty their old place was. It's
Oh,
amazing they
I
ever signed.
remember. You're right.
It's amazing they ever signed to anybody. And
That's funny.
but anyway, all right, John, what do you got for John?
Oh, just a couple of fun stuff. So since you've been up here, I mean, you've been to Arlington a couple times this year, but are you finding what are your local spots? You finding any place around there you're hanging, getting some maybe a new restaurant you discovered or something like that you're hitting?
Yeah. Okay. So I got a couple spots. There's a taco place. I should have looked up the name. I don't know why I didn't.
Uh oh.
Uh-oh. Sorry,
Oh,
he's there.
there you are.
I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
But I don't
Okay.
know why I didn't prepare myself better. But I don't know the name of the taco place. I'll get it to you. But there's a really good taco place here in like downtown Dallas-ish, and it's pretty good. I went and it was funny. I had this like weird run
Street
in.
tacos, like street tacos?
Yes, like street Mexican tacos. And I had this weird run-in with this guy who I got my food and I was sitting down eating by myself and he kind of sat down. He was like, "Can I join you?" And I was like, "Sure, why not? Maybe I'm in the mood for a little chatter." And we kind of got into conversating. He was like, "Yeah, like I've been trying local food spots around Dallas." He said this is one of the better taco spots I've had. So it's kind of cool that we kind of got to bond. We had some bonding over tacos.
Did
But
he ever figure out you're a big leaguer?
no, I try to keep my
Yeah,
personal
yeah, yeah.
life away. Yeah, I usually whenever I meet some random people, I usually say I do real estate, which is not a lie because I do real estate in the off season. But
Oh,
yeah, so I try to keep
What I do.
the baseball stuff away. But there's me and my girlfriend went to a coffee place a couple days ago. I want to say, or maybe yeah, a couple days ago. It's called Ascension Coffee. It's in I don't know exactly where it's at, but it's pretty good. It's pretty solid place.
Okay.
Ascension.
Do y'all live in Dallas or are you out in Arlington?
So we're closer to the Dallas area. We're not in Dallas, but we're closer to the Dallas area. I don't know exactly what it's called. I think it's like Oak Cliff or Oak Lawn or something like
Yeah,
that.
Oak Cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oakwood and
So
Oaklawn. There's one of each, so I don't.
They're pretty close. They're actually pretty close to
yeah,
each other right there.
yeah,
So yeah, I kind of from all that area, so I know it pretty well. So yeah,
yeah.
you just jump on 30 and head right down to the ballpark. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, so that place is pretty good. I really like the sushi place that I tried last time I was up here. It's called Komodo. It's like a big time spot. It's not a low key spot. I
Yeah.
tried it in Miami, and when I went to Miami, and it was really good. And then I saw they opened one down here in Dallas, so I was like, I got to go try the one here.
Oh,
And
there it
it's
is.
it's pretty good. I like that place a lot.
So
All
the
right.
girlfriend's with you, huh?
The girlfriend's with me. Yes.
Now is
Okay.
she back from high school or where did you meet her?
No. Funny story. We met last year at the end of the season in Austin. She's from Austin, so I met her when I was in Round Rock.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
All
So
right.
kind of we hung out once, and she
Okay.
just
Took off.
she kind of loved me from the day we met, and she couldn't get enough, so we ended up hanging
Wait,
out.
There you go.
you got the juice, right? They
Yeah.
call you juicy. That's why.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's
But
hard.
He
yeah,
knows
It's
that
hard.
young he knows
I
that
get it.
young kid vernacular or whatever it is that
What about real estate? What do you do in the?
Are you a realtor?
Selling stuff in
so
Arizona?
yeah, I do it in Arizona. So I help my dad. My dad is big into the real estate business, and so I ended up doing a program an off season ago. I think it was last off season to try to get my license, and I finished everything right up until spring training started. And so the only thing I have to do left is pass The
The
state
test.
exam. I passed my school exam and everything. So all I have to do is pass the state exam to be officially licensed. But for the most part, like I did everything. So and I already helped my dad. We've been doing some real estate stuff as like investing stuff for kind of a while now because he loves doing that. So
Oh,
That's what
that's
I do.
cool.
yeah,
I
it's
work for
definitely
property
helpful.
management company. I'm licensed realtor, do all
Yeah,
that stuff. So man, we'll have some talking to do there and
for
talk about
sure.
that for sure. Okay, this is one of my favorite questions. I want to ask somebody about this. Tell people the difference between travel in the big leagues and travel in AAA. Now in AAA, y'all do fly. You do
Yeah.
fly where you're going to AAA. What's the difference between flying on that charter and flying with the AAA team? Tell people how it's good to be in the big leagues.
No, it's definitely good to be in the big league. So definitely leaving at whatever time the team decides and whatever time you want to go. As soon as everybody's on board, we go. Is nice. You don't have to wake up in AAA. It's Southwest flights most of the time. Sometimes
Yeah,
it's an American or a Delta, depending on if there's no Southwest. But most of the time it's Southwest, and so you don't have a seat. So it's whatever time you get on the flight, you try to find the best available seat possible. So
right.
sometimes people end up getting stuck with middle seats, and I'm one of the smaller guys, as in like skinny wise. So I always have to try to sit in the middle to make sure other people are comfortable, you know.
Yeah,
And so I always end up getting stuck with the middle seat most of the time.
Huh.
Um, and also in AAA, most of the time you don't travel like right after games, so that way you have a full off day. You travel on your off day, so you really most of the time don't have an off day unless you're at home for 2 weeks or on the road for 2 weeks, or it's like a bus where we go to Sugarland, which is 2-3 hours away, and then Oklahoma
right.
City, which is like 5 or 6. So those are the only times where you really have off days because every other off day you're traveling, and it could be a connecting flight, it could be a direct flight, but you're losing time when you come back to Texas for coming from the West Coast. So that's kind of some of the stuff where it's like I kind of wish I had a full day to relax and take care of my body and recover, you know. But I mean, big league flights, you leave whenever you want. You have a whole row to yourself. You're not worried about people cramming. You're not worried about a middle seat. Uh, I
You
mean,
don't have
being
to go through
on.
security either, or
Yeah, you have to
like
go through
USA.
sometimes. I mean, sometimes, but all they do is just check your backpack, make sure you don't have
Right.
anything. Just not sitting there waiting with a bunch of other people and kind of sitting in lines and stuff. So I mean, it's definitely a perk and
Food. They
it's
get you good
different. So
food on
it's
those
nice.
flights.
Oh, they get you anything you want. I mean, I come in and there's chicken, there's Chick-fil-A, there's hamburgers, there's I mean everything. It's
Yeah,
crazy. It's like there's a chef on the flight.
I was flying somewhere. This is, I don't know, before the pandemic, and I was standing there. I was doing a phone interview, uh, and I was waiting for my flight, and then all of a sudden I was like, "Hey, wait a second, that's Nick Martinez," and the whole Round Rock team was walking, connecting to a flight, and so
Really.
I was able to stop and talk to a couple of them. But yeah, I mean, there's no connections in the big leagues. You hop on the plane, you go directly where you're supposed to go, and you don't have, it's the only way to go. I mean,
No, it's nice for sure.
Now, do
when
you
I
have a
when I
roommate in the
finally hit
minor
that lottery,
leagues?
So usually you do. My roommate for most of the year was Huff, was Sammy.
Yeah,
So when I got called up, I think I don't know if he didn't want to have a roommate, if he was over having a roommate, or if maybe he was just like, oh, I miss Jonathan. I don't want to have a different roommate. But he ended up getting his room for the rest of the year. And when you get for your own room in AAA, you have to pay a little bit. Like, kind of have to pay the difference of whatever the team pays for half and you pay for half. So
right.
he ended up doing that for kind of the last 2 months of the season. So I got my own room, not having to pay for a couple times because technically Sam is still my roommate, and since he's paying, I
Yeah.
and so we did that for a couple times, and then it was like, hey, we hooked you up for a little bit. Now it's time for you. If you want your own room, you have to pay for it. If not, you can have a roommate. And I was like, I kind of like having my own room. It's kind of nice having your own privacy and not having to worry about anybody waking up or anything happening, whatever. So I ended up paying for my room the last couple times we were on the road, and I mean, it's nothing beats
Well,
having your own room.
yeah, in big leagues though, you get your own room.
You get
They
your own
hook
room.
you. Yeah.
yeah,
You do.
no doubt about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Jeff, anything else for him?
No, just I'm not working today, but tomorrow I want the name of that taco place.
Yeah.
I'll do some recon and I'll get back to you guys for
Do
sure.
some recon. I may be out there tomorrow too, man. And do Jonathan, listen. You guys are big leaguers. Stopping down to talk to us is just so appreciated. Of course, we always love to see you when we're in the clubhouse there. Come up and say hello and do that. But we can't thank you enough for taking time to stop and talk to us, bud.
No, thank you guys for having me. Always a
All right.
pleasure.
All right, guys. Jonathan Ornelas, we're going to go down in the bus leagues right after this. Down in the bus leagues is brought to you by the Frisco RoughRiders. Jeff, what's going on in Frisco?
Well, they are in the midst of their final homestand of the regular season right now. If you're listening, we get this out today, John. Pressure Thirsty Thursday. It's Dallas Stars night. Mitch Bratt is starting the game. He's from Canada and played hockey growing up, so kind of fitting there. And then Friday the 6th, that's tomorrow, Dia de los Quesos at Frisco, and it's Fireworks Friday. Saturday, Dallas Mavs night and Kids on Bases. Sunday, Fan Appreciation Day and Kids Fun Day by Rays and Canes. The Rough Riders are guaranteed to host one playoff game, September the 19th. Tickets are now available. If that series were to go to 3 games, the Rough Riders would be home on the 20th as well. And then if they win that series, the championship series, I believe, would have opened in Frisco on the 21st. So go to MILB.com/Frisco for more information. But there will be baseball, at least one more game after this final homestand for the season.
Big thanks to Jonathan Ornelas for joining us. Look, this is big league players here, guys. For the fact they stopped down and talked to us, that's pretty great. Especially they got to get out to the ball field at some point today, and they're going to stop and talk to us. So we appreciate Jonathan coming on. Listen, we're going to go over. It's minor leagues. They're in the home stretch, right? We're getting to the end here.
We're getting close. The AAA season goes until the 22nd. On the ad is just heard about Frisco. They're in their last homestand. They have one more road trip, and then it's postseason time. So and then the A-ball teams are going to be wrapping up here real quick too. So it's the end
All
of the
coming to
season.
a close. And let me tell you what. Let's talk about. We're talking about. You know how we do this, guys. We go to every level. We go down. We're going to talk about players at every level. But when we do, Baseball America just came out with their top 100 end of season, top 100 prospects, and the Rangers went from having 1 at midseason, they got 4 now. And it was surprising to me that Kumar wasn't in there at mid, but I guess he really wasn't going good yet. I guess he came back after that. But Kumar jumped everyone. He just kind of lapped the field.
Yeah, he's now the Rangers' top-ranked prospect. He came in at number 30 in the top 100 list. Sebastian Walcott, 52. Alejandro Rosario making his debut at 86.
Yes.
And Emiliano Teodoro at 97. I work for Baseball America, full disclosure, and sometimes they take the they really swing toward who's going hot, and it's really hard to argue with what any of these guys have done this season. But they thought the Rangers had a bottom 10 system in baseball because Carter and Langford graduated, but now all of a sudden they have 4 in the top 100. So it's going to fluctuate, but it's been a good developmental year, really, for Rangers pitchers at the lower levels. When you look at Rosario, Cole Drake, who's now in Double-A, Ryan Lobos, who's now in Double-A, Rosario is making his Double-A debut Friday night, so tomorrow. Those 3 guys are Baseball America have them as 3 of the top 10 pitching breakout performances in the minor leagues this year. Yeah. So, and as you go further down, we'll get to these guys later, but there's good pitching there. So it's not just Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter. There are guys coming. They still have a way to go, but it's been a good year. Although it hasn't helped the major league team, there's been positive movement on the pitching development side.
Yeah, and for this organization, that's phenomenal. They need to have to develop some of their own pitching, and they're starting to see some results happening. And we see this where you just praise these guys; they look fantastic. Then they make the jump to Double-A, and things get a little dicey as they start facing, and some of these guys fall off. But man, you're seeing guys that are coming up to Double A, and they just keep rolling, and they're keeping going. Kumar Rocker was one of them, jumped all the way. Now he's in Triple A already. Jack Leiter, who started in Double A, I think we all think maybe he could have started in High A now that we look back at it, but who's coming along now. He's a big leaguer and performing well. He's showing that he's a big leaguer. He's showing he should be a big leaguer. And doing that, I guess when he's the number 2 overall pick, you want him to be, your ace of your staff, but they've got an ace of their staff in this organization, it looks like, that's coming up when Kumar Rocker, he looks like a number 1. And when you're going to have to draw with him.
He does, but he'll still have speed bumps his rookie year and all that stuff. So
absolutely.
It's exciting, but these guys all come at their own pace. So
absolutely. Rosario, who is,
and sometimes they back off. So, that's why it's not like the NFL. You don't draft a guy number 2 overall and immediately put him in your rotation. He's not a quarterback for a crappy team. So
absolutely. And Wyatt Langford's an example of that. When now he's coming into that number 4 spot, probably the best bat in that draft, maybe, that some people thought. But it takes a while. You got to face. He says it, best pitching in the world. It takes adjustment. Okay, Rosario's coming up too. That's another one that good Lord, we had him on the show, and he just wasn't. And what's amazing about Rosario, we're going to get into each organization here in a second, guys. But what's amazing about him, you look at his college numbers at Miami. They just weren't. They didn't fly off the charts. You know what I mean? I think he had some control issues, things like that. And then there we go. And all of a sudden they get a hold of him. He's striking out more than he's walking. That ratio is crazy what he's doing. Throws 100 miles an hour, throws a good slider, has a few pitches. This guy, he has figured it out.
Yeah.
Seems to have.
And it's credit to, the Ranger scouting, who saw within I really think his ERA was above 7 last year in Miami. So for the Rangers to see what they saw and get him dialed in on his strengths, that's what he told us back in, I think it was May, when he was on our minor league show. The strengths are do what you do best, and then worry about the rest. And right now, it's fastball splitter, a little slider, but it'll be a new challenge for him against these Double A hitters. And you hope he gets a start or two. Maybe he starts in the postseason. But what a big year for him, and hopefully for the Rangers. Yeah.
All right, let's get into each organization and each level of the organization and go down. We're going to start obviously at the top of AAA. Round Rock, they're 27-31 in the second half. They're 3-7 in their last 10, and guys, they've lost 5 in a row. But some of their top players aren't there anymore. A lot of people are coming up to the big leagues.
Yeah, it's a risky, not a risk. The it's not like Chris Almendarez is down there picking out the roster and making these decisions. So, you're at the mercy of the major league team and their needs, and everybody in the minor leagues understands that. But Sandro Fabian got called up yesterday to the major leagues. A guy who really hits well against left-handed pitching. He was in big league camp. The Rangers want to see it. Blaine Krim, I think, will get an opportunity. The perception I have is that these September guys are going to be cycled through. It's not like it used to be 100, not even 100 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, where you could call up,
everybody on your 40
as many guys as you wanted who are on the 40 man, and can't do that anymore. So I think Blaine Krim and maybe Dustin Harris are 2 guys who will get a look before the Rangers season is over. But Krim and Fabian have 17 home runs, the team leaders in that category. Justin Foscue, he's up. He was called up before September 1st because of an injury, and he's going to be playing a little bit more for the Rangers, and he had an 897 OPS down there, so he definitely needed to be up. Blaine Krim's at 831, Fabian at 805. Take a look at these guys. You don't know what's going to happen with the money, the TV contract. You might need Sandro Fabian to platoon, be a guy who faces only left-handers, and maybe he platoons in sense with Leody Taveras, who doesn't hit left-handers.
Sure.
So just things to be mindful of, and things that certainly the Rangers are mindful of, and are looking at all possibilities right now.
And they got 40-man spots they can use. They can put a couple of guys on the 60-day IL to end the season, and the thing is, and let's explain this again. Once the season ends, though, everybody has to come back right off the 60, or when is that?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much very quickly after the season ends. I don't know the timeline, but you got to.
There'll have to be some decisions. So some of these guys,
a lot of guys get DFA'd, and you never hear about it. So anyway, let's not ignore the pitchers here. Owen White was up for a day. He's actually turned into a pretty good little reliever. I think he likes it. I don't know if the door's closed to him starting or not. Maybe it is. And then Ryan Garcia is pitching tonight in Las Vegas, and in 5 starts since his promotion from Round Rock, he's 2-1 with a 2.28 ERA, 35 strikeouts for Ryan. So I'm curious. He's another guy we should have on definitely in the off season, because I wonder if I don't know. I wonder if somehow his pitch selection works better in AAA than it did at Frisco. But of course, to earn the promotion, he was pitching his tail off for Frisco. So no, something to discuss.
Just like Tiger, I've been high on Garcia since they drafted him. He was the Pac-12 pitcher of the year coming out of college. He was their Friday night pitcher, which in college, that's your ace. And the numbers he put up, I think he had a less than 2 ERA in the Pac-12 back then. I mean, he was unbelievable coming out of college. Then, of course, he's dealt with injuries, and he's been on the show. He's a very friendly kid, always says hi when he runs into you. Just a great kid.
Yeah.
Oh, man, just a good one. So always rooting for that guy, and just another arm they're developing who, it's taken a little bit, but here he comes again. Let's go down to Frisco. Now, anybody else there?
It's the usual suspects. Andy Ortiz continues to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's now tied for the team lead in home runs. It's only 14, but he's really come alive. So good for him. Alejandro Osuna, just a good looking ball player. He's hitting 300 since his promotion.
Done it at every level.
It's in 200 at bat. So this isn't just some flash in the pan. It's a pretty large sample size. He's had a great year. He started at Hickory, so good for him. Really good defensive player, just a all-around kind of ball player. Teodo, the Rangers are slowing him down. They feel comfortable with where he is on his innings limit. I don't think he'll get added to the 40-man until November, so he won't be a September call-up. Dane Acker, it's been steady. It's 3.23 ERA. He's probably walked more guys than he's wanted, but another guy who could be selected in the Rule 5 draft. He wasn't protected last year. Obviously, didn't get selected. So we'll see what happens there. So a Frisco playoff rotation could be Acker, Winston Santos, and Alejandro Osuna. Ben Anderson's had a nice year down there.
Yeah,
maybe they give a more veteran guy a playoff shake. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see. And Frisco's doing fine.
Yep, they're good, and I didn't say they're 34-25. They're 7-3 in their last 10, and they've won 3 in a row. But they've done it all year. They won the first half. That's what made them a playoff team. Automatically. And now this happens every year. These teams will make playoffs in that first half, and a different roster will play in it because of the way things promo up and down, and you get promotions, demotions, and all of that happen. Let's go down to the high A Hickory Crawdads. They're 32-30 in the second half, 5-5 in their last 10, and they've lost a couple of games. Who are we talking about there?
Well, you always have to talk about Sebastian Walcott, and he's up to 415 at bats. He's going to have a full season that was not interrupted by injury, which is great. This is for an 18-year-old.
Think he'll come up for the playoffs?
I don't know. I don't know if he will. He might get a taste, or they might bring him up unofficially and let him hang out with the team just to get a lay of the land. But he's kind of flatlined here a little bit lately. He's been stuck on 10 homers for a while. But after those first 6 weeks, he's been a tremendous player. a strong candidate to be the Rangers minor league player of the year. Two other guys worth mentioning are Arturo Disla and Leiter Figueroa, who have come up from low A at various points and are really hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Figueroa's average has climbed. It was well below 200 for a while. He's up above 200 now. I think Disla might have. I'd have to double check with his down east numbers, but I think he's probably the organization. He and Figueroa are probably the organization leaders in home runs. So good to see some progress there from them. And then on the pitching side, David Davalillo had another just fantastic start. He was so good at down east on a loaded staff that some other guys got promoted before he did, but he's been really, really good. So that's another guy.
Body. He looks like a
guy that's just kind of come out of the woodwork this year and figured out something. So good on him. And
all you can do.
Yeah, exactly. Take advantage of the opportunity that's presented to you. Listen to your coaches. Listen to these guys who have some ideas that can help you and see what happens. So
keep putting up numbers like that. They are going to keep watching you.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, let's go to down east. That's the low. What's Cam Colley doing there? Is he
in Hickory? About the same. Nothing. Still kind of probably not the season he wanted to have. He strikes out a lot, but he's up to 358 at bats. So he had that turf toe or something early in the year that slowed him down after a really, really good spring. But still got to watch.
He played a lot for the big league team in spring. He was one of those, what do you call them, the end of game guys that would come in.
Just in case player,
Yeah, just in case players. He did that a lot. So, all right, we're always pulling for Cam. He's a Texas boy. He's a good boy. All right, going down to down east, they're 29-30, 4-6 in their last 10. They have won a couple of games but heading into today. But who we going after there?
Well, the team has gotten really young since the ACL season ended. Shedry Vargas, who was the ACL star last year, another guy who's going to get through a full season. He could play 100 games. He's at 94 right now. He's been trending up the right way all season. But same names that we've always talked about since the ACL season ended. Pablo Guerrero, Yeremy Cabrera, who had a little bit better week. Jose De Jesus, who's cooled off a little bit. So, these guys are teenagers, right? I mean, they're and every step that they go will be the best pitching that they've ever seen. So, don't worry too much about the numbers down there, especially for these guys getting their first taste of it. But a guy who was drafted in 2023, Julian Brock, he's a college catcher. He's really put it together. He's had a nice solid year. Batting .259, which is up from where it was earlier in the year. A little power there, but the Rangers put so much emphasis on defense on their young guys, and he's a guy. You got to look out for him. Casey Cook, the third rounder, is picking it up a little bit. And we did mention our buddy Malcolm Moore from the show last week at Hickory. He hit another home run, so he's up to 3.
And Dreiling hit his first.
And Dreiling hit his first, the second rounder. So
both of them are at Hickory, by the way.
Yeah, at Hickory, they're hitting below 200, but nothing to worry about there.
Yeah, and I've said this over and over in the lower minor leagues. You never look at average because a couple of these guys are facing pitching they haven't seen before, so they got to get kind of used to the wooden bats. And although a lot of them used them more than at my age, when we hardly ever used a wooden bat until we, but they're just getting adjusted to it. And on the pitching side, you got to ignore ERA, you got to ignore that because there are balls that are become hits that probably aren't hits in the big leagues and all of that. And you just got to skim over that 5 point whatever ERA, and you're looking at is he missing bats? Is he walking people? What's he doing? And that's what you're doing on the development side. You really got to sort of ignore some of those numbers, because Ranger scouts will tell you. I mean, the way they did with I'm still amazed at the Mitch Bratt thing. When Bratt's numbers weren't great at the beginning of the year, and they were saying, "Don't sleep. You're sleeping on Bratt. Don't worry about it. He's fine. That's our guy." And then look where he's gone now. It's like he's there. We love him. He's doing what he's supposed to, and he looks good. And then you look at the numbers, and it didn't look right. And then here he is in Double-A, and he's just shoving.
There you go.
That's exactly what it is. Look, this has been a great show. Thanks to Jonathan Ornelas for coming down. Anything else before we get out of here?
No, I need to go to the bathroom, so let's cut this one off.
Like Jeff and Emily, they got to go pee. Emily always got to pee every time you got out on the show. All right, Jeff, go pee, guys. Thanks for this one. For Jeff Wilson, I'm John Moore. Until next week, we will see you at the Yardcast.